Thank you.
How you doing?
I had to do
Put this propaganda in my place.
Ready, Rachel? Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of PSTA to order. Thank you all for joining us for this September 24th evening meeting. I would ask that we rise for a moment of silence, and then I'll ask our short timer, Vice Mayor Mertz, to lead us in the pledge.
All right, thank you.
A moment of silence first, please. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
PSTA welcomes public comment. If you'd like to speak, please pick up a card at the front desk and you'll be given 3 minutes to make your comments to the board. The first comment is Devin Henderson.
Fringe benefits.
Hi, my name is Devin Henderson. I'm a 26-year-old SPC student who uses PSTA 5 or more times per week. I'll be voting no in November on Greenlight Pinellas. I wanted to express how appalled I was when reading the latest news story about PSTA. This time, a bus driver sent out for fried chicken while the route was behind schedule and ate it while the route fell even further behind schedule. I feel horribly for those who may have been late or missed work, school, doctor's appointments, etc. As a frequent rider, I've seen some very disturbing behavior exhibited by PSTA drivers and staff just across the board, all of which I've complained about, none of which have been resolved still. So there was even a recent story of wheels just literally falling off of two of PSTA's buses while en route due to PSTA's negligence. So I have family and friends that ride the bus. I ride the bus as well. I just cannot believe that you guys have put everyone's life at risk in the county. Obviously, you had the money to fix these issues because you jumped on it and got them fixed right away. So you had the money. You just refused to do it and to keep up with that. You guys are so focused on this 24-mile rail line between Clearwater and St. Pete that you're not focused on what you need to be focused on, which is the bus system to begin with. You've forgotten your responsibilities. They've went secondhand to Greenlight Pinellas. I urge and will continue to urge all the residents of Pinellas County to vote no on Greenlight Pinellas. We've been very effective so far. PSTA needs to focus on the bus system. You guys need to get that running right for those of us that need it before ever asking our taxpayers to allow you to spend billions on a train that's going to take over 10 years to complete. PSTA has proven time and time again to be untrustworthy. You all have lied about public records and tried to publicly embarrass those of us who invoke our right to request these records. PSTA is in serious need of management change and cannot be trusted with more money until so. The board members, I don't see the name anymore, but Patricia Johnson, I don't know if she's still on the board. When I went to the council meeting, she was. She hasn't been to an evening meeting now. It'll be 18 months. Even if she goes to the next one, we're talking almost 2 years. The two, John Maroney and Cliff Mertz, are sitting here talking through the first minute and a half of what I had to say. They couldn't care less about that first minute and a half. This is what I'm saying. PSTA does not care about its riders and the community at large. And you guys continue to prove this time and time again through the various things that you guys do. Some of the issues, like the one driver picking on the woman for Medicaid, James Bradford assured me that he calls customer service complaints back. I haven't heard anything about it and have put in other calls. Have a good day. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Mr. Chair.
Just a moment, Commissioner Newton. We're going to take the next comment, and then we'll have any board comments and any response from our staff. I have personally talked to Mr. Henderson about these issues. Obviously, we disagree on green light, but we need to, I think, just respond for the record to some of the things he said. Next speaker is Sherry Mercier. I know I misread that.
Sherry Mercier, you got it
Okay.
right. And boy, that man up there that just spoke to you just got my fire burning, y'all. I am voting for Green Light Pinellas, and here's why. You may have some issues. True. Every company, every agency has issues. Okay? Y'all know that as well as everybody else does, including that man back there. The only way you guys are going to resolve some of these problems is to get this Green Light Pinellas passed in November so that you can have the money to fix the buses and get them rolling right, get better tires on them, get more bus stops, get more buses on more routes, and get better bus drivers and get rid of the ones that are not doing their damn jobs. So I will be voting for Green Light Pinellas, and I will get everybody who is on the fence to try and go yes. Now, I gave a list of things to Mr. Welch. He's going to keep them. But there are two things that I want to know about. It's the use of federal money for Green Light Pinellas instead of security and safety issues. Thanks to Mike Deason of Channel 10 News, he's the one that dug that up. And he's very good at digging things up, as you all well know. The other thing is the new PSTA terminal building at Parkside Mall. I want the truth, honesty, and transparency. When will it be open and available to the bus riders? Because we've been waiting since this past winter. We've been telling everybody's been saying it'll be open in May or June or July. And I know weather's had influence on getting it done and everything else, plus some other issues. But we need to know when it's open, because I plan on getting my bus passes at that terminal instead of going all the way down to Central.
Yeah.
So, and 2 new stops by the new Walmart on Bay Pines Boulevard. That has got to get done because it's too far to walk for a lot of us, especially the senior citizens and those that are disabled. And on 54th Avenue North, there is an apartment complex called Prince Villas. The new name will be Landings at Cross Bayou when it gets done. We need a bus shelter at that bus stop in front of the office, badly. We haven't had one since 1998. And my husband suggested this. He is suggesting for PSTA bus cards for veterans and active military personnel at discount. And that's for military personnel that has either a VA Medical Center card, active military ID, retirement military IDs, or even a special PSTA ID card showing that they are military or active military or veteran. Because there's a lot of these veterans that may not be on the MPO program that needs discounts on these bus cards, especially the 31-day, because a lot of them can't pay $65. And a no tax for tracks, and I'm sure this guy back there is part of that no tax for tracks. Keep fighting against their lies, because he just pulled out a whole bunch of them tonight, and that's what got my fire burning. So hopefully you will resolve a lot of these issues and get some of these new ideas going. But like I said, you guys need the money. It needs to get passed in order to resolve some of the issues that he mentioned. And get rid of the bad bus drivers, because I'm tired of fooling with them.
Think you so much for your comments. We will get you written responses to your questions. I'll get these to Rachel. We had a number of issues I think we just need to address for the record. Can we talk about the issue of the driver on break and also the issue of the wheel maintenance issues that came up?
Yes, and I don't know, James Bradford, our Chief Operating Officer, maybe he probably can do a better job of summarizing the bus driver who ate while on the break. I sent you all a email last night summarizing the story and included a pretty detailed summary that James had written up about what he found out. James, you just want to quickly...
Yeah, just a summary for the record, since that accusation is part of this meeting.
Sure. So we all saw the Channel 8 news story come out last night. There was also a write-up from Mark Douglas of Channel 8. Pretty much it was a story stemming from earlier last week where we got a passenger complaint that the bus driver delayed the route by pulling in and having our friend take her out, go out and get her some food. We did investigate that. It wasn't long as reported. Initially reported as 20 minutes. The driver came in late. We have spoken to her since. She was under the impression that she had more time. I was actually following, looking on her bus clock, and was just mistaken. So we have since talked to her. We've taken the appropriate corrective action with our driver, which included counseling, and you know, as the reporter mentioned, she does feel very badly for it. As to the other stories, we do have the complainant who made the report to us, and actually we'll be following up with that person as well.
And on the wheel issue, is that under active review, or have you completed a review?
Absolutely. We've actually put forth a couple of extra additional checks on that. That was under review. Right away, we actually went through the entire fleet to make sure there were no other similar problems. We do believe it was a fluke occurrence. The particular last one was loose lug nuts, and it was, we believe we tied it to mechanical error, and we did follow up appropriately. We've also called for in addition to signing off, the mechanics signing off on the preventive maintenance report, we've asked our supervisors to step up, make sure they do a full 360 of the bus before that bus goes back out on the road. We've since also taken other initiatives, including a loose lug nut indicator, in addition to just as a additional double check for that. So we are on top of all the recent issues, and obviously we're apologetic that they've come out. But one thing I can tell you about our staff is they do step up right away. They do ensure, they do investigate to find out why it happened, and then we do take progressive steps to make sure these things don't keep happening.
And again, our culture is when a problem is identified, to address it, correct it, and move forward, and that's what we're doing here. In terms of the break, unfortunately, I know where that Popeyes is.
Right.
It's right across the street from the YMCA, by the way.
Right.
But the bus terminal, I mean, you literally can throw a baseball and hit it. I mean,
Yes.
It's right next door. It's not like they were sending someone blocks away. And our drivers, if they're on time, they can get food or.
Yeah, one of the things we tell our operators, and one of the story tried to go into operators or lack of lunch breaks, we tell them safety first and foremost. So if you're on a route all day long, you're kind of pushing it, you're behind schedule due to traffic or passenger loads, we tell them when you do get to like the terminal or the station, absolutely get up, stretch your legs. If you need to get out, grab a bite. Do what you need to do. We also ask them to keep the passengers informed at all times, let them know what's going on, let them know, hey, listen, I'm just going to hop out for a second, I'll be right back. This was a case of the extreme bus kind of pulling in, already down, operator error, and then her friend, record time running across the street and back. That's a great friend, but, I actually had the operator in my office today. She came in, very apologetic. Her friends and family, saw her on the news, and I think lesson learned. And actually other operators took note of the news story as well and said, we understand. We understand our role, and eyes are up on us, and we have a job to do when we're out there, and we can't relax, not even a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Bradford. Any commission comments on this, Commissioner Newton?
Yes, I just got a question for the gentleman that spoke. If you want to come up, the one that spoke first, the public forum,
Mr. Henderson?
Henderson, if you mind.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your input and feedback and taking the time to come out to express your concerns to the board. You mentioned you were an SPC student, a St. Pete College student.
Yes, sir. I'm a St. Pete College student working on my bachelor's in business administration.
And you ride the bus?
Of course.
Do you show your ID and use the U-Pass service, or are you
Actually,
still paying?
I'm glad you brought that up, because the neat part about that is yeah, I do. I take advantage of the UPass
So you use
program.
the
But
U-Pass
there's
program?
there has not been an influx as far as in the students that are riding my buses, which I ride the 5 and the 79, the only two. I got some public records from Rachel of the numbers. Also, well, you get.
Well, I only had a question. I heard you mention SPC, and I was just wondering that you use the U-Pass service that they have now, where all the students, if they show their student ID, can ride any one of PSTA buses for free.
Wouldn't I?
I don't know. You seem like you had a lot of complaints about the bus, but I said that to say this. Mike Deason is out there covering a lot of stories. But we had a
looking out
Excuse me,
for the
excuse me 1 second. Mike Deason is covering a lot of stories, and we had a press conference where we released, we went into a partnership with PSTA to allow the 2,700, about 2,700 employees of the city of St. Pete to show their ID, and they can use the ride the bus for free. And then the next partnership we went into was the St. Pete College one, and I didn't see any. I didn't see Mike Deason and none of the media out there. It's just kind of, to me, to be fair, you have to report everything. You can't pick and choose and point fingers and say, look at this, look at this, look at that. Because you yourself just say you're utilizing the value in the partnership that the college went into with the city.
I would rather
with,
pay
excuse me
for
1
my
second, with PSTA. You can pay. I'm pretty sure they'll take your money. You can put your ID in your pocket and you can pay, but you're using your ID to use the service. So we're obviously.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm gonna bring this
Did you guys
to
not
an,
have a
hold up.
partnership?
No.
with
I'm
SPC?
done.
Hold
I'm
up,
done with
hold
you.
up.
I'm done.
That's why I didn't want to come back
Right,
up. You
I'm
want to
done.
ask, but
Mr.
I can't
Henderson?
ask another
But I
question.
had one question to answer. You already answered.
Okay,
Already with SPC.
let's come to order.
If I can finish, Mr. Chair,
Now,
I'm done with him. I'm done
Commissioner
with him.
Newton, I wanna get back on track.
I am. I'm done with him. I'm just making a statement.
Okay.
And I only had one question. Did he utilize the service? And he said yes. I was just saying that the media covers what they want to cover. And it's bad that you accent all the negative instead of some of the positive things that the PSTA and this board is doing with partnerships. The college and that partnership that we have where you show your college ID and you can ride the bus for free, any one of the PSTA buses, is going to save each one of those students approximately $4,000 a year. That's a lot of Roman noodles, you know. So we are doing some things right, and I'm glad the gentleman was able to attest to that because he utilizes it, even though he can take money out of his pocket and not show his ID. So that's all I wanted to point out, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Newton. And I will say that Mr. Henderson has had discussions with me, and if y'all want to get together and talk, I think y'all should do that. But the fact we're going to disagree on green light doesn't mean we can't talk about other issues. And I think every commissioner up here has an open door if you want to talk about issues and really want to move forward,
Right.
And make our service better. On the issue of Parkside, what's the date, Brad?
So I can get back to you on that. We've had some issues with the contractor this summer. Maybe some due to weather, some due to timing of materials. We're still hopeful to have a set date. We're on them every day to get that project completed. But at this point, I'll have to get back. We'll have to confirm
So we're shooting
date.
for this.
We're shooting for sometime in October is the last number,
Okay.
last date I heard, but I don't want to. I can't commit to that.
Is the citizen that asked a question still here? Did she leave? Okay. Brad, did you have another comment before we move on to our awards and recognition?
Yeah, well, I was going to bring this up under the reports, but on page 60, I'm sorry, on page 64 of your packet is a PowerPoint presentation. Now, we're not going to go through that tonight, but it was specifically given to the Finance and Performance Management Committee a week ago about the work that the staff has been doing in maintenance, in preventative maintenance. After the issue with the mechanic missing the lug nuts on the bus, and there's a pretty nice summary there that the Finance Committee heard that shows all the work that Henry Lukasik and our maintenance staff have been right on trying to address the issues when they identify them and get on them as fast as they can. And they've really been seeing a lot of improvements to the maintenance of our buses.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. Thank you all for your comments. Let's now move on to our awards and recognition, and we want to acknowledge one of our great drivers, the driver of the year, Mr. Marcus Hughes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Thompson, the Director of Transportation here at PSTA. Nice to see you. I'm privileged tonight to introduce to you the PSTA Driver of the Year, Marcus Hughes. Marcus has been with PSTA as a bus operator for 16 and a half years. Operating primarily the Southside St. Pete routes, Marcus enjoys meeting new people as he operates his vehicle in public while helping them to get to where they need to go safely and on time. Marcus is married 20 years, to his wife Sharon, has a son, Shaiquez, and a daughter, Maisha. Marcus is a veteran of Desert Storm and Desert Shield. He rides a Kawasaki Vulcan. You know what that is? That's a motorcycle which he says is 800 cc's, but that's not enough cc's for him. He likes to go faster than that. He enjoys the movies and spending time with the family. He was selected as Driver of the Year based on his attendance, safe driving record, and no complaints. I'd like to present to you our Driver of the Year, Marcus Hughes.
Thank you. Speech.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Glad to be here.
Marcus, bring
Yes.
that beautiful lady up.
Okay.
Come all the way out here.
Well, okay, Sharon. My wife, Sharon.
Okay.
Like Jeff said, been married for 20 years and 2 kids out of that union.
Amen, amen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'd just like to thank everyone who, the committee by selecting me for Driver of the Year. I enjoy what I do, and I guess it shows now. I was in the military, and I drove while in the military. So when I got out, I was like, well, let's just continue on this, since I like driving. And when I came to PSTA, good company, and I was glad to be here. And I want to thank Brad and everyone, again for selecting me, and I'm glad to receive this award.
Mr. Hughes, thank you so much for your service to PSTA and to our nation. We appreciate all of your good work out there for us. And do you wear a helmet with that motorcycle?
Every time.
Good man.
All right.
It's kind of small. Look at how tall he is. I know.
Can we see it?
And next, I guess I have to do this. Don't want to. We want to recognize an outgoing board member, Vice Mayor Cliff Mertz, who's done a wonderful job for us here at PSTA. And just as he's getting warmed up, he's going to leave us. But we want to recognize Cliff. Is this your last meeting? Do we know?
Yes, this would be the last meeting of the,
Well, want to recognize you, Brad.
Yeah, so Cliff Mertz is the city councilman, vice mayor?
Vice mayor.
Vice mayor of Safety Harbor. And Safety Harbor, Oldsmar, and Tarpon Springs, those 3 cities get 1 seat on the PSTA board. And they, for I think a very long time, since the beginning of PSTA, have rotated that seat 2 years, and then the next city gets it. So although we are very close to the Greenlight Pinellas vote, Cliff and I talked, and he wanted to keep with the 2-year transition right on track, and so Oldsmar's, actually the mayor of Oldsmar will be the new representative on PSTA next month. But I've been very happy that Mr. Mertz has been on the PSTA board. He has done a lot to work to get Safety Harbor, to get them to learn more about PSTA and about Greenlight Pinellas. He sponsored a town hall meeting about more than a year ago, that Cliff and I were the only 2 people that were there. But then a woman came over that lived in Safety Harbor. One person that did finally come. But when the Greenlight Pinellas came before the City Council of Safety Harbor just about 2 months ago, the council chamber was packed, and there was a lot of feedback or testimony to the council, pro and con, and Mr. Mers had done a great job of getting the word out before that, and his council had gotten presentations, and it was all, and he basically led that effort. That doesn't even go to say his involvement with the launching of the Jolly Trolley, the new Jolly Trolley service in Safety Harbor. So those are two, in just 2 years, he's done a great job at getting his community very involved in the PSTA activities. So we have a recognition for you if you'd like to come forward. And of course, the most coveted item of all, a lifetime pass. It's your lifetime U pass. It does. It does, yes.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
this thing. Yeah.
You have to declare that, Cliff.
Very nice. Congratulations and thank you.
Now you got a gold card.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'm sure we'll have some comments as we conclude the meeting at the end.
Yes, thank you.
Let's move on to our track committee report from Chair Elaine Mann. Good evening.
Bit of a hard act to follow. Chairman Welch, Mr. Miller, esteemed board members, the Transit Riders Advisory Committee met on Tuesday, September 16th. We have no actionable items to bring to the board tonight. However, we enjoyed 2 presentations at this particular meeting. The first from PSTA Service Coordinator Raj Singh covered the October service changes to routes 7, 8, and 66 to accommodate traffic needs and increase rider convenience. Concerns by the track members were expressed regarding wheelchair and scooter accessibility both at and around the new bus stops, most especially the Tarpon Springs Route 66 bus stop. Staff assured us that these concerns will be addressed. A second presentation by Jeff Thompson, PSTA Director of Transportation, updated us on the Mystery Shopper program and the latest results of the most current study. Mr. Thompson requested track participation in developing the next set of Mystery Shopper survey questions. And while we learned that most Mystery Shopper scores are quite high, the study also addressed concerns regarding the homeless at the Williams Park Transfer Center. This led to further discussion about how PSTA personnel interact with the homeless at bus shelters and terminals overall. When the committee learned that there is no set procedure or policy currently in place, Mr. Miller immediately agreed for the track led by committee member G.W. Roll, a national advocate for the homeless, to work directly with staff to start developing policy and procedures. These meetings involving pertinent staff are being initiated this week by Mr. James Bradford, PSTA COO. The Transit Riders Advisory Committee looks forward to its continued support of both the PSTA staff and this board, and I'm happy to entertain any questions that you might have at this time.
Thank you so much, Chairman. That is excellent work by TRAC. I've worked a little bit with G.W. Roll, and I know he'll tell you exactly what is on his mind. But
Quite
he's
certain.
got quite a bit of experience, and those are just good recommendations, and I think exactly what we envision TRAC to do to give us immediate good feedback from a rider's perspective. Any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Move on to our action item, the CEO's evaluation. Everyone should have a copy of the evaluation. The Personnel Committee met. You all have the spreadsheet that shows all of the comments, as well as a spreadsheet.
On the very back of the packet.
Yeah. That shows all of our rankings, thank you all. We had 100% participation in the evaluations. I think that's the first time in a while we've had that. And Brad scored very well, 4.45 out of 5. I think he slipped 0.05 of a point. 200 of a point from last year.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
Highest scores were in working relationship with individual board members and with community leadership and relations. Several board members specified areas of opportunity where we need to improve, and I think Brad has responded well, particularly in terms of communicating with the board. The Friday updates in particular, I think, are very well done. And I can tell you from my perspective as chair, Brad and I have a better level of communication continuously. So the Personnel Committee is recommending basically what you see in the table. Brad has requested no increase in salary. That came from our CEO. Life insurance is still the same. There's no car allowance. Severance pay by his contract goes from 4 net months to 5 net months. That's just in his contract. And everything else is the same. Any comments from the Personnel Committee? Commissioner Newton?
I just wanted to, I said it in the meeting, and I want to say it here now in front of the board, that I appreciate Brad's leadership and unselfishness in what he does. I think that we're far away from where we were when you first took over. I think we're heading in the right direction. I have full confidence in the work that you do and the time that you spend out in the community educating the people about transportation options. I think that's to be commended, and I thank you for all your work.
Thank you, Commissioner Newton. Vice Chair Johnson?
Thank you. I too compliment, no, I don't compliment. I observe our CEO, and I watch what he does, and I look at the things that he completes that I don't think he would complete when everything else is going on in the organization. And so I see above expected performance in these areas, and so I'm very pleased. Occasionally there may be a stumble, but overall we have accomplished a whole lot in the last year in preparing for green light and taking that out as a referendum, and the number of occasions that he has gone out in the community and sought input from the community is extraordinary, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Commissioner Rice?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think that PSTA is very fortunate to have the caliber and leadership of Mr. Miller. And I had the opportunity to travel to the APTA conference in D.C. It was a national conference of all the transportation geeks. I felt at home. But it was really a nice part of the trip was to see Brad in his element and to see how highly regarded he is by people in the transportation sector, to meet, his proteges from Charlotte and Iowa, and to see how highly influential and respected Brad is. So we're very lucky to have his leadership, and I agree with everything that Mr. Johnson just said.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice. Vice Chair Mertz. Vice Mayor Mertz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to also echo, I think that we're very fortunate to have someone who lives and breathes this, who seems to really not only enjoy it but cares. And it's not just a job to him. And I think when things do happen and stumbles are made, he gets on them quick, and it's a big organization and a lot of stuff going on. And to be able to do that, to be able to do it with the passion, and to be able to not let that knock you down but continue on is, I think, a testament of how focused and involved you are. And I think that's very good.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I was a part of the board at the time that Brad was hired, and I remember the interview process. And in my interviewing with him, one of the things, or a big global issue we talked about, was that our organization had been without good processes for a very long time, and that we needed someone that was forward-thinking, tech savvy, that could bring new processes to PSTA. Brad's been here for 2 years?
3 years.
3? Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry.
Time just flies.
Uh-huh. When you're having fun.
That's right.
3 years, which is a short period of time. I know that in my city, when we hire somebody, we give them at least 6 months to a year before we start expecting, big things from them. But not only has Brad had to come here and try to reorganize in many ways in PSTA to have us look forward, but also work on a brand new plan, a brand new 40 to 50 year look ahead plan, and revamp our entire transportation system, which is not something that a normal CEO would maybe have to take on in his first year of being here. Yes, we have indeed had a few stumbles, and when I look at those stumbles, I think of them as really training obstacles that we've had with personnel and processes. And those two things are easily overcome. Brad has hired a number of new, really talented staff over the last 3 years in some existing positions and in some new positions to try to help with those processes. And in my conversation with him, I would just assume that maybe we need a few more of those folks to help with our processes and ensure that our employees have the appropriate training, whether it be public records or timing of their bus ride or maintenance or whatever the things are. I think you've taken some really great steps. I think we all agree that we can do better. And you have done an enormous amount of work. I don't know how you even get the chance to sleep every night. So,
I don't know how
Based on when he sends his emails out,
yeah, I know.
It looks like he does.
And texts. So I just want to say I recognize that we have issues, and I think Brad recognizes that we have issues, and I think we are all, every one of us, as well as Brad and the staff at PSTA, are committed to working through them and being a better transportation agency. And I believe that you're committed. You've added a few goals to next year to ensure that we're committed, and I thank you for that, and I am very happy that you will be with us for another year.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Are we approving the goals as well?
They're not here, but I didn't see them.
They are here.
They're not attached, but unless I missed them. Because I know we added one or two.
Right.
Page 44 or 22. 44 at the bottom and 22 at the top, including the committee's, your suggested additional goal at the bottom.
Right. And so these still say draft goals. Should they come back to us?
Oh, there.
Are y'all more comfortable approving the goals at a later time? So let's just approve the evaluation for now, and then we'll bring the goals back to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just go ahead and add your recommended goal there as number 5.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And the
However
personnel
you
committee.
feel comfortable doing it.
Or revise number 1, I guess is what.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Any other comments on the evaluation? I just would echo the comments. Go ahead, Commissioner Dyke.
Yeah, I just kind of want to echo what everybody else is saying. I think Brad's commitment, his foresight, his execution has just been extraordinary, and I think we're very fortunate to have him.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would agree with all the comments. I would not focus on the stumbles. It's kind of easy to do that when you're in the heat of the battle. But if you go back 3 years ago and asked ourselves, where did we want to be in September before the election, we are exactly where we want to be. I know a lot of us were at the Transportation Forum today. A lot of great remarks about PSTA and Greenlight, and not only the leadership of this organization for Pinellas, but what it's going to mean for the region. And this was going all the way over to the Lakeland mayor, talking about how important Greenlight is. So I think Brad has done an excellent job. I think his staff has done an excellent job. I think the PSTA organization has done an excellent job. We're a learning organization. Our goal is to get better every day. And I think we're headed in that direction. What keeps me up at night, besides Brad, calling and emailing, is when we're successful, the work is just beginning.
Yeah.
I love the committee structure and everything else that we put in place. Those committees are going to have their hands full, and this organization is, and staff is as well. We've got a whole lot of work coming, and I know we're up for it, but there's no other place where I think we would rather be than right where we are today. So I just concur with all the comments. Do you want to say something before we approve your evaluation?
Yeah.
Okay.
First, thank you all very, very much. I'm honored to be your CEO and honored to get the evaluation that all 15 members took the time to do. I have made copies of the evaluation to give to all my staff. One, because I think you wrote a lot of really great comments that the whole organization needs to see. And two, because the positive review, I totally believe, is a reflection on them and the staff. And as Commissioner Welch said, and I told the staff this, we have some of our mistakes have been highlighted, but at first I said we do 99 things a day, and then I changed that to 99,000 things a day throughout the organization, or 100,000 things a day, and 99,000 of them are excellent, and the staff does a great job. And that's what I think this does a great job of highlighting. It's a good piece to highlight all the different things that we have been doing. And while the commitment is fully there to keep working and improving in those areas where we need to improve. That's the whole goal of the evaluation and operations. I just wanted to say that. And thanks to the staff for working so hard also. They're sending me emails at 4 o'clock in the morning too, so.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I've done that too.
Okay, well, thank you, Brad. And do we have a motion to approve the evaluation as recommended from the Personnel Committee?
So moved.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, let's move on to reports, correspondence.
I would just like to highlight, let's see, two things. One, maybe to put that context, the article that was on TV last night about the operator who was delayed, on your performance report every month is a listing of the on-time performance of our buses. And so the situation that happened last night, the operator departed late. Down about the middle, it's on page 61, but in our regular report, about 3/4 of the way down, it's called on-time performance, and you can see that we were on time 82.4% of the time. That's 82.4% of the time at every single one of our hundreds, perhaps more than 1,000 time points on every route across the whole county. The computer system, using the GPS, figures out if the bus is on time or late at every single time point. So 82.4% of the time it says we're on time. So yes, 17.6% of the time we are late or early. Early is actually worse than being late, but and the computer tracks that. So that will go into the log as a time being late. There's all sorts of reasons for being late. Traffic, construction delays, sometimes the passenger loads sometimes affect it, but it's an issue. I think what we learned and what we've directed the staff to do based on what happened the other night was this operator just made a mistake and didn't realize what her schedule was supposed to be. She thought she was early when she was not early. And so we're looking at all of our procedures in place on how drivers remember or know their schedule. It really is remarkable in my career how incredibly smart bus drivers become about their schedule. They know it. They always know it. And they just memorize it, right? But sometimes when they're driving a new route or whatever, maybe we need to do a better job of communicating or reminding them exactly what the schedule is. I wanted to point out that. The other thing I wanted to point out or just highlight or invite you to is a ribbon cutting we're having about this service change that is occurring on October 5th that Ms. Mann highlighted that we talked about at the track meeting. We are adjusting route number 7, which is a St. Petersburg route in the just south of Central Avenue, so that it serves a portion of 22nd Street south. And they're starting up a new farmer's market there on Sundays there. And so as part of the farmer's market on Sunday, October 5th at 2 p.m., we're going to have a little event highlighting the first service ever on 22nd Street South.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Brad. We're looking forward to that. Commissioner Newton?
Yeah, that was a long time coming, and it also makes sense now that we have a UPass agreement with St. Pete College. Now the windows are going into that beautiful structure. It's kind of point mute to have a UPass agreement when you can't get to the college you want to go to if you're a student. So I thank the board and I thank Brad and staff for that consideration.
Thank you, Commissioner Newton. Anything on future meeting subjects?
No.
We're almost at the goal line. Next month we will have, is that lockdown for the 3 former?
Yes, so October of 2014 is PSTA's 30th anniversary. PSTA was created in October of 1984 after a vote by citizens in Pinellas County. And so we have invited the last 3 chairs of PSTA board to come and make a presentation, a brief presentation, sort of where we have been as an organization, or where they led the organization during their time. So that is most recently former chair Jeff Danner, R.B. Johnson, mayor of Indian Rocks Beach, and Deborah Kynes, former Dunedin mayor? Commissioner. Commissioner.
I didn't hear the date.
What's the date?
At the next
It's
PSTA
our next
meeting.
board meeting.
I'm sorry?
Our next board meeting. I don't have it.
You'll be here.
October 22nd, yeah.
And that'll just be a brief presentation in recognition of the 30th year of
Yeah.
PSTA.
Yeah.
Okay, any other business from the board?
Did you want to, well, I'll just highlight.
Sure.
The PSTA Executive Committee has met 2 times to look at green light outreach issues, and so you have at your place is a copy of the newspaper insert that is going in all of the Tampa Bay Times and Tampa Tribune and Gabber and Tampa Bay newspapers. This is the one you have is the one that's going in the Tampa Tribune. The Tampa Bay Times one, I don't think they've printed it or given us yet, but it's going to look very similar. There's also going to be, and I thank you for many of you who are signed up to join me, a series of telephone town halls next week, kind of similar to what we already did, but the executive committee approved, and we're going to be having telephone town halls. They're advertised in the newspaper insert in the middle. So if you're home next week, during the time you might get a robocall, and you can call in and ask a question.
Cool. Very well done. The ad is clean and informative. We'll move now to board member comments. Commissioner Diamond.
Well, I have two comments. First, I want to thank Cliff Mertz for his service on this board. It's been a pleasure to get to know you through this opportunity to serve with you, and I have also learned a lot just in the way you listen carefully to the presentation and ask questions. So thank you, Cliff, for your service. And secondly, in the public comment, I heard the second speaker, Sherry Marai. Ms. Marai suggested, made a comment that I thought was interesting about, well, whether or how we might be able to provide some sort of discount to veterans or active duty military personnel. And I know from us having gone through the budget process, I think we've made a real effort as an agency to try to keep our fares as affordable as possible. And I think even more affordable than other cities, if I remember your presentation correctly, Brad, of our size. And there is no fare increase in this year's proposed budget, if I recall correctly. But I did think it was an interesting idea, and I know we all are looking for ways to honor and recognize our active duty military service members. So I think it's an interesting idea, and I think it's one that maybe we should look at. So thanks. And the veterans, thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
Is there a consensus to ask staff to kind of take a look at that and bring it back to
Yes.
which committee would be appropriate?
Planning committee.
Okay.
We're actually, as you know, we've presented to you, we're working on a whole new fare policy.
Fair policy, right.
To bring back to you. And we just happened to have a meeting today with the HART staff, and we were just talking about this. So I don't know.
That's great.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
if everybody's on board, we'll have staff put something together and bring it back to planning. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Diamond. Commissioner Long.
No, I don't have anything, Mr. Chair, except did I miss this letter from?
I'm going to talk about it when it gets to me.
Then I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to thank Cliff Mertz for his service, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you. Sorry to see you go. Hopefully have an opportunity to work with you in the future on some other projects. Also, you know, the subject of maintenance keeps coming up, and I said this in the Finance Committee meeting, and I want to say it again here, is that, you know, maintenance is probably one of the easiest areas to Monday morning quarterback. And, you know, after managing my own fleet for 30-plus years, and probably 10 of that being in the trenches, as Henry is every single day, I know exactly what he lives and breathes. And I'm here to say that I tell you that I think he's doing a fine job with the fleet. So keep up the good work, Henry. And then lastly, had an opportunity to attend the transportation forum today, and it was really enlightening, very interesting. So
Thank you for those comments, Commissioner Scott. Commissioner Rice.
I also wanted to add to other comments, saying farewell to Cliff Mertz. And I've really enjoyed working with you, and I look forward to working with you again, wearing a different hat. I also want to say how nice it was to start off this meeting by recognizing Marcus Hughes in the Driver of the Year, and how nice it is just, and inspiring it is to see someone who loves their job and gives it their best, and again reflects all the way up to the top of the chain with the great work that our CEO Brad Miller is doing. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice. Commissioner Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to echo all those concerns. I also want to express my gratification with the transportation meeting this morning. It was really good information. It was good breakout sessions, too. A lot of good comments, good questions. I attended the session Brad was in, because somebody had to go and clap. It was like 2 people in there. No, I'm kidding. But I really enjoyed that and got a lot out of it. And I want to echo the concerns about the entire all the employees that we have here at PSTA. And Brad is exactly right, not to share the credit for them, because you make him look good. I mean, I know he does a lot, but he has a lot of good people behind him that's, you know, helping him and doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So I want to thank you all. We have, for names for accommodations, 29 employees, and this is near and dear to my heart because these are the people that that interact with our end users. These are the ones that deal with the people day in and day out. So, you know, we make the decisions, but they actually are the face and human contact with these individuals. And I want to recognize we have 26 bus drivers, 2 customer service reps, and I think for the first time, 1 administration person that I got, because I've been doing this for a minute and I've been trying to keep track, but here we go. If I hold up your name, take it out of love. Robert Alligood, says professional and courteous driver. David Beck, kind, helpful, great driver. Candace Carriger, I think it is, I'm probably saying it wrong. Kind and sweet driver. Elizabeth Cator, nice, helpful professional. Stephen Cruz, polite, courteous professional. Queen Daniels, she had 2 accommodations, friendly, awesome driver. Annette Dillon, awesome driver. Donna Faye, probably Tammy Faye's, Fry, I'm saying Faye. I said Tammy Faye's sister. Nice, kind, and helpful driver. Nehemia Guerra, considerate, kind, and helpful driver. George Hancock, friendly and professional driver. Teresa Jones, nice and kind driver. Stacy Knowles, 2 accommodations, friendly, nice, professional driver. Gary Kruger, safe and nice driver. Jeff La Rotunda, professional, safe, and a great driver. David Latimer, nice and friendly driver. Matt Miner. Michael Miner, I'm saying Matt. Friendly, kind, helpful driver. Daniel Nelson, kind, cheerful, helpful driver. Lucy Peterson, nice, kind, caring driver. Harold Rutherford, professional, excellent driver. Patricia Shingles, polite, courteous, professional driver. Abby Tawny, friendly driver, always smiling. James Lindsay, knowledgeable, kind driver. Chris Villanova is a friendly, awesome driver. William Wash is a nice driver, always smiling. Vance Wagner, kind, helpful, exceptional driver. Don Winrow. Nice, helpful, respectful driver. This is the HR associate administrator, Maddie Murray, kind, helpful, and generous. I'm sorry, kind, helpful, and gracious. The customer service individuals were Rosalind Mims, kind and professional, Emmanuel Villanueva. Him too. Great customer service, helpful. And also I want to give my big kudos to Cliff too. It's going to be sad to see you go, but I know you'll be around. You're not going to quit serving. It's in your blood. And it's a pleasure to serve, and I thank you for your service. And also Marcus, Driver of the Year, I want to thank him. He was the one that came down when we did the initial press conference for our U-Pass with the city of St. Pete. He got to drive us around. He hit about 2 curves, but other than that, he was all right. I'm kidding, Marcus. But I thank you for all you do. I know it's not easy. I know when you hear people come in here slamming different drivers and individuals, and they go on, and they spread onto the staff and everybody, you got to take it out of love. Being an elected official, we get it all the time, you know. But they told me, you know, the fleas come with the dogs. So this is the job I wanted, so all that comes with it. But I appreciate it, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you, Commissioner Newton, and as always, thank you for recognizing our employees. Secretary Bujalski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We recently had our Patriots Day, 9/11, and I wanted to thank all our first responders, which in those situations can include our PSTA bus drivers, for all that on that fateful day. That's it. Cliff, I'll be seeing you over there in Safety Harbor on that trolley, because we're connected now, my friend.
I haven't passed.
Yeah, I know. And you come visit me too.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Cliff, you're a great guy as well as a esteemed public servant, so thank you for that. Today we spent some time looking at future transit. Green Light Pinellas will be on the ballot coming up on November 4th. I thought it was interesting talking to somebody that came to the meeting tonight and was looking for a ride home. The reason that she was looking for a ride home is that she came on the bus. In order to go home, it's possible to leave here as late as 9:45 and still get up to Park Street. But Park Street, the last bus going from Park Street up to Dunedin, leaves at 6:05 or something like that. So we've already missed that bus. So that's an example of how Green Light Pinellas will help somebody that wants to come to this meeting, and we have this meeting occasionally in the evening so that more people can.
Listen, I've already got one. I already got one tonight.
Cliff going that way.
You guys can take the next one.
All right, I just wanted to get that in. Mr. Scott talked about the Finance Committee and the presentation on the maintenance. To me, this is using data to improve the performance of our system, and it's one of the reasons that I'm so happy that Brad Miller has put this so high on the priority list. Everybody knows, the manufacturer knows, you change the oil in the bus every 6,000 miles. But these guys looked at the data and said, maybe we should change it a little oftener. They went down, and they figured out by changing it and the air filters every 5,000 miles, they wouldn't have dusted out engines. That's real bad. And the engine would perform better because in the hot climate down here, it's really stressful on the oil. This is data-based performance improvement. And to me, one of the most important things is the schedule for the bus. If the bus breaks down on the schedule, it messes up our customers' ability to get where they want. So kudos to the maintenance department and all the folks that are there. The last thing I wanted to talk about is I spent one night down at the Don Cesar as part of a Florida League of Cities meeting, and I started talking to the concierge. And I said, do you get questions about the buses? She said, I get questions all the time. And I said to her, well, do you know about Ride PSTA, the system that will allow you to say, well, the next bus is scheduled to be here in 10 minutes, or the next bus will be here in 20 minutes, or whatever that is. She didn't know about it. I showed her how to use it, and she was very pleased. She was also so pleased that she wanted to share that information with the other concierges in the Tampa Bay area. And it's just an example of how when visitors come here, they do take the bus, and they appreciate good information. And that's one of the improvements that we've made since Brad arrived. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and I love your passion for database management.
Yes.
You share it. Commissioner Maroney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That example, Commissioner Johnson, is really good, and that proves my point to you, Brad, how I said how important it is of getting out in the community, and I did give you a very high mark in that area because you have done very well, but you could see that there's still more work to be done. I know the hotels on the beaches, now that I'm living in Treasure Island, are very supportive of Green Light. Their employees need transportation morning, noon, and night. And when the buses are not there after 12 o'clock, these people are carpooling and they're calling cabs, which are very expensive. And I know there's a lot of support on the Gulf.
But he did not mention that he also committed us to a Green Light presentation to the concierge Association group.
Good idea. Beautiful. That's an excellent idea. That's an excellent idea. I also want to say goodbye to Cliff. You're all complimenting him on how nice it is to work with him. I get to sit next to him. And I'll tell you, this guy is prepared for every single meeting. He's always ready. He asks great questions, and we are going to miss you. So I wish you the best. And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure thing. Commissioner Dayton.
Yeah, I want to say, Cliff, it's been a pleasure and wish you very well. And I also want to kind of pick up on what Commissioner Rice and Commissioner Newton were saying about our bus drivers. I had occasion on a couple of weeks ago to be making a presentation along with some other people at the, I think it was Indian Shores Commission meeting, and we were urging them to support the green light. Among the people presenting was an officer from the bus drivers union, our union, and he spoke quite well. And it struck me right then that the union is a group of people that has got a huge stake in the success of green light and in the success of PSTA just in general. And that they are a voice that I would be interested in hearing more from. And to that end, I would like to suggest that maybe we think of how we could include somebody from the union in either the track or the some other committee that we have, so we get input directly from them. The only time that we hear about the union, it seems, is when we get these reports about our outstanding drivers, what they've done, and then also at the time when we're negotiating for wage hikes. So we run a little bit hot and cold, but they are people with a huge stake in the success of this organization, and I'd like to suggest that we figure out some way to channel that input to us in a much more direct basis. Thank you.
Would that be something that we would route through planning committee?
Could be planning.
Or maybe the performance management.
Performance management.
They're doing, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to make a motion to that,
Yeah.
that we route that idea through, who should it go through?
I don't know, but I was, not to interrupt, but I do think, I thought Brad told me at one point that he had some type of an employee committee that he was doing or thinking of doing.
Well,
at
we
one
had
point
talked
or
about
another.
having the union maybe come to track and talk about what they work on, but we could do the same thing to the board committees as well.
If there's a second to the motion,
Second.
let's route it through
Whatever it was.
performance. Well, to bring that idea
I
to
recognize bus drivers, so second.
performance management committee and have them vet it there and bring it forward to us.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Commissioner?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before I give it to the Vice Mayor for the last time, I just wanted to echo the love fest here for you. I know you're feeling the love, and I just appreciate your professionalism, your demeanor, and just the logic that you bring to issues, even though you're carrying that outdated smartphone. Not even a smartphone. But I just love...
Maybe she may not
Well, we
totally
can't all
tell, but
keep
she
up
can't
with you,
tell.
Ken.
And you will be missed, and it's been a pleasure
This
to
is
work with
Holly, she's
you. Any comments?
Well, for those who didn't know, I have basically 2 cans and a string is what I use for my phone.
Here's the.
But that's all very, very kind. Very nice comments. The honor and the pleasure is mine. It's amazing how fast 2 years went by. And today at the Transportation Forum, which was an excellent opportunity to listen to the big picture. What we do here and what's been done comes into clarity even further. I think it's important. It's critical for a lot of reasons. The ones that we discussed here, workforce development, reducing our carbon footprint. I mean, there's many, many things that positive efforts that we've been working on will make an overall improvement in our area. I'm also very impressed with the professionalism of not only the board, but the staff. It's a pleasure. I've served on a number of boards in my career, and I'd like to consider this at one of the very high ones that I've been involved with, the professional grade of the people and the passion that they bring to it. I very much appreciate that. It's 2 years is kind of a short time. It's an interest, but the term is up, and I very much am interested in watching and seeing what goes on and participating however I can. It's interesting. Anything that you do, you always will leave with a couple of things, you know, whether it's the image of Brad and I standing in Safety Harbor with the two of us looking for people, and how far it's come since now.
That was epic.
You know, and I will also remember Wengate. I very much appreciate the fact that you read all those names.
Thank you.
It really brings it home.
Yeah.
I'll also remember Julie looking over your shoulder and correcting you. But
He's really showing them the love, you know.
That's right. But, you know, that collaboration, cooperation flows. And, I mean, it's important because this is, you know, an organization for the people and
Absolutely.
everything else. So, again, the honor's been mine. I very much appreciate it. Mayor Beavis will be the next person, and I spoke with him today at the forum. I understand he was involved on PSTA in the past, so you've got somebody with a background and a seasoned, some experience to help in the future. So I'm very happy to hear that as well.
Well, thank you, sir, and we wish you Godspeed.
Thank you very much.
The last item before we adjourn is at your places you have a letter from the City of Gulfport, Mayor Henderson, and they were requesting that this board implement a rotation among cities. I talked to our council. We cannot do that. Alan is recommending that if they want to pursue that, it's via an interlocal. Is that correct, Alan?
Correct. That's
Okay.
really under the special act. That's a decision for the group of cities to make.
Okay.
Kind of like what Safety Harbor, Tarpon, and Oldsmar have done. They entered into their own interlocal agreement that PSTA is not a party to.
And that is the seat that Commissioner Barkley now represents?
Yes.
Is that one? Okay. So just so we all are informed, I'm going to send a letter back to Mayor Henderson saying that basically what Alan said, we can't do that, but there are other means that they can come to an agreement. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
You're saying rotate. They want to. You have different people on the board.
They want us to implement a rotation among these cities, and we cannot do that under the special act. The cities can come to their own agreement.
But I thought they already do that. That's why you have people cycling off when you got multiple representatives.
Counselor, can you
not the way
shed
it
some
works?
light on Commissioner Newton's question?
I was thinking that they already do that. They have a representative that rotates. You know. That
I don't think they
represent
do.
those cities.
My understanding is they just come to a consensus about who the appointment's going to be. What I understood from the letter we received from the mayor of Gulfport was they want to have a specific term like Safety Harbor, Tarpon, and Oldsmar does, where every 2 years it would go from one city to the other city
okay.
in the group of five.
Can't we make a recommendation to them that this is what Tarpon, Tarpon and Oldsmar
That's
and
what the
Safety
letter
Harbor
says.
does? Oh, okay.
The letters
Okay.
gives them some options, but we can't impose it. as a
Right.
board.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor. Anything else for the good of the order?
That's it, sir.
Seeing none, we're adjourned.
Were you at the time?
No, I got